Well, thank you, Mr. President, for that introduction. Thank you to the Fondation Jean Monnet for inviting me here today to substitute, as you've heard, for Bill Cash, Member of Parliament, who sends his apologies as he, as you've heard, is engaged in proceedings in the House of Commons to do, in fact, interestingly enough, on the European Union referendum bill, a bill which will provide for the holding of a referendum in the United Kingdom on whether or not membership of the European Union will continue. And the referendum will take place at some time, some date before the end of the year 2017. There are lots of arguments about this bill which I won't go into to do with the conditions under which it is to be held and whether or not state bodies are allowed to spend money intervening in the campaign at various stages. But leave that on one side. He sends his apologies, and I will do my best to represent, not him, no one could represent Bill Cash, I think. Anyone who's met him, I think, will appreciate that no one could simulate him, but I will attempt to represent roughly the same point of view. And I think the panel here with the other participants from Great Britain, I think, by and large, are very much on the other side of the great divide in the debate we're having this afternoon. So I shall do my best alone to represent the Eurosceptical side. And if I can explain, really, where I come from, you know, I mean, I make my profession, my work is if you like, derived from the European Union. I appear, as mentioned, in the European Court of Justice at Luxembourg regularly, and much of the work I do relates to European Union law, particularly law on free movement of goods and free movement of goods and services, and cross-border supply of services and intellectual property, etc., etc. So, as someone who I hope knows quite a lot about the workings of the subject, I want to give you my own perspective on it, which is starting off at the time when Britain joined then the European Economic Community, the Common Market, as in favour of that move and in favour of us staying in it when we had a referendum a long time ago in 1976. And however, what has happened since then, and I think the historical perspective from the British point of view is important, as well as the historical perspective from the continental European point of view, is that membership of the common market was regarded as primarily a matter of trade, a matter of bread and butter politics, not as something desired to lead to a political union or deeper European integration. In a sense, the fact that the Treaty of Rome at that point had elements of political integration built into it was regarded as an undesirable price which Britain had to pay in order to enjoy the perceived economic benefits of joining the common market. And what has happened since then is you can't see in Britain today a significant level of positive enthusiasm for European integration or for European institutions making and controlling our laws. What you can see is that there was a generation for whom a number were enthusiastic for this exercise, for this aspect of the European community, European Union as it became, who are gradually, through retirement and so on, moving out of political life, leaving, I think, very, very little positive support anywhere across the political spectrum in the United Kingdom, positive support for further European integration in its own right and as an ideal. So what we have from our side of the Channel is, I'm afraid, a very utilitarian view of our relationship with the European Union, which is it a good thing for us in terms, largely economic terms, in terms of trade? And if you look again at the historical perspective on this, the problem that has been happening over the last 45 years since we joined in 1972, has been that the political price has been getting greater and greater. There has been more and more intrusion, as one can see it, by Europe and by European institutions into different areas of law and society, restricting our ability to govern our own affairs and to respond to the democratic wishes of our own people. And at the same time, the economic picture has transformed, largely adversely to the benefits of continued membership of the European Union. Partly whether it's linked to the euro currency or not, but slow growth within the Eurozone over the last 5 to 10 years has resulted in the percentage of exports which the United Kingdom makes into the European Union declining long term. And apart from being, as it were, the advantages diminishing, the other problem, trade and an economic problem from our perspective, is that the European Union positively inhibits, in many respects, the sort of trade that we would like to be doing with fast-growing emerging market economies, including economies which have historic links with the United Kingdom from before the time we joined the European Union. So after this period of time, it is a natural time to which to ask the question whether or not continued membership is in our interests from our point of view. But what I would suggest also from, if you like, a European integration point of view, from the point of view of Jean Monnet, is this, that trying to persuade the United Kingdom to believe in the ideal of European integration is completely a lost cause. It doesn't follow, however, that it need result in disagreement or enmity between us. What we need to look at are positive solutions under which the United Kingdom's relationship with the European Union can be built firmly on trade and economic matters without participating in and without being sucked into further stages of European integration, but at the same time, equally, the United Kingdom respecting the desire of those states in Europe who wish to go further and who believe in this ideal to carry that forward unhindered. So that is the positive vision that I would suggest should take us forward in this debate, a recognition that after this period of time, the United Kingdom's destiny has become so obviously different from that of continental Europe that a separate solution needs to be found, but that solution needs to be built on respect in both directions and mutual interest which continues to exist, friendship and cooperation. So I would say from my perspective, we've yet to see what Prime Minister David Cameron will succeed in negotiating by way of revised membership terms, but unless what he succeeds in negotiating is something pretty radical in transforming the nature of our relationship, I'm afraid I can assure you that I, for one, will be someone who will be voting for the out side when we have our referendum either next year or the year after. So thank you again for inviting me, and I hope we're going first putting the negative perspective, and I'd be very interested to see the response to that. Thank you.